Hey everyone, I have been putting off doing this review because, to be honest, this is one of the least exciting knives that I've handled for a very long time. And it's a few things were going against it. One was that I got it on the day that I also got a very exciting knife. And but you know, I did my due diligence and I carried it on and off with the alternating with the line steel TRE. But as you know, non-comparison, there's $200 more for this knife than this one. This is a $65 budget knife from Spyderco. It's got G10 handles. It's got 8CR13 MOV steel. Opens with a thumb hole. It has a liner lock. Has a decent pocket clip, a bit like the Delica, if not the same as the Delica, just without the lanyard hole drilled into it. It's a very competent knife, made in Spyderco's low budget range, made in China. So, the blade. I like the blade shape, it's a good blade shape. I like fully flat ground blades. I'm not that fond of 8CR13 MOV steel, but then again, it's a $65 knife, so I mean, in my opinion, that's getting the limits of what you'd expect to have this steel in. I'd start expecting sort of at least your AUS 8 or your 14C28N, which, to be honest, real steel does for a lot less than this. But anyway, so there's that. But it's not too bad. It's a well working blade. There's not a great deal wrong with it in terms of the actual shape. How it's ground. It's ground very well. It's thin behind the edge. It slices and shaves and cuts and does all the cool stuff. So it's fine. So it's a good enough blade. It's got some jimping on the top. Zoom in there. A bit of jimping on the top. It's fairly functional. You get sort of, especially when you're using that forward finger choil, choke up on that jimping there. Not too bad. It says China on this side. It says Spyderco 8CR13 MOV on this side. This is Spyderco Spyder, which is quite large, to be honest. So yeah, made in China, competing, I guess, directly competing really with the Tenacious. Is it better than the Tenacious? I don't know. I haven't held a Tenacious, but what it does differently to the Tenacious is that it has no hump at all on the back, so your thumb rolls straight over, which is good. And it also has a forward finger choil, which people seem to be crying out for, which, yeah, I must admit, I do like a good 50-50 forward finger choil, for sure. So, it also reminds me a bit of the Spyderco Junior. Have you ever seen a Spyderco Junior? Or even the Spyderco Lava? Some people say the Spyderco Native a bit as well. And it's going for this, nice, generous, super ergonomic look of, having your whole hand wrapped nice and tightly underneath this ridge here and this, finger groove here. Which is good in theory, but, and I guess this is getting onto the handle, this isn't a particularly great way of holding a knife because you generally want your thumb to be pretty close to what you're cutting. So if you're cutting cardboard, you're going to have to readjust, set the knife off a little bit. It's a bit like the problem I have with the rat knives, which I don't use for cutting cardboard. They're sort of outdoorsy, woodsy kind of knives. So it's a little bit different. But with these ones, you kind of just want to stick a knife like this in and just tear. And it's going to be useless for this first little part here. So you won't be holding the knife like this. It's 4-finger, it's comfortable enough, it's fine. But yeah, I foresee you're going to be doing most of your working like this, which is fine. Yeah, they've put the forward finger choil in. Yeah, use it, go ahead. But then you've got this huge gap here, which actually makes for a bit of a void underneath the index finger. So, I don't know, it's just not as well thought out as it seems, in my opinion. I love Spyderco. Jeez, I love Spyderco, but I'm going to call it like I said on this knife. It's going by the numbers, giving the people what they want, but it's not done it right, I don't think. Lock accessibility is good. The liner lockup is good too. It's fine. It's it goes to about, oh geez, it goes over. It's actually fairly not exactly overdone, but it's right in the middle of that that tang there. Yeah, so it's about 50%, 60%, I guess. No problems at all. Pivot looks pretty small, but I don't expect any problems with durability or anything like that because it is surrounded by full stainless steel liners. This backspacer here, it's all really well finished and quite flush and smooth. It does add a bit of weight though. Do you know this knife weighs twice as much as a Spyderco Delica? So it's a Spyderco Delica weighing in at 66 grams. Pretty much the same size knife, same capabilities for sure. This one, 116 grams. So it is almost, and I really mean almost, like 48%, no sorry, like 96% heavier than the Delica. So just food for thought there if weight does bother you. I can see what they've done. They're trying to make it a smoother knife in the pocket, which is, I do appreciate that. Not everyone likes having these ramps and these holes here, and that's another thing they've gone and got rid of. So Some people like to purchase up on their spider hole ramp. This is for the people that don't. That just like to run their thumb over the back of the knife, a bit like you can with pretty much any other knife, you know? So this made this knife for those sort of people, which is absolutely fine. You want to know the thing that really sort of took the wind out of my sails with this knife? It wasn't the steel, it wasn't the price, it wasn't the sort of general black G10 8CR13 MOV. It wasn't all that. It wasn't the weight. It's a really annoying knife guy thing, and I'm going to be a real sort of knife wanker right now, because you know what? It's a feature you only find out when you sit down and play with it for a while. But tell it like it is. Isn't that what we're doing most of the time with our knives? Yeah, we use them. We all say we use them. Oh, I'm using... Geez, I use my knife at least 50 times a day for all sorts of things. Oh, really? Name 6. Oh, well, I cut some cardboard and Yeah, exactly. You sit on the couch playing with it all day, just like me. And that's exactly how we all are, I think. So, sitting on the couch playing with it, you'll notice pretty quickly that when you open it, your thumb rubs against this over and over and over. Like, it just... that they've tried to give you this generous forward groove that isn't that practical because you don't use that grip, and then when you open it, every time your thumb just coasts on past it, just glancing it, just enough for you to feel it, not enough to really do an injury or give you a blister or anything, but just gets under my fingernail, just like a little pain in my ass every single time. So you know what? This knife is not fun to play with on the couch. So you know what? It means I barely carry it, and it means I barely want to carry it. I know I'm superficial and I'm stupid, but I'm a bit of a collector. I'm a collector that uses my knives, but really, as most collectors do, I just like handling them and playing with them. And when you open the knife, part of the, at least 50% of the knife journey for most people, it's not that fun. Yeah, it's a completely manageable one-hand opening and closing knife, and in fact they've gone overboard on the closing because they've got that, oh, look how much liner I can press. Thoughtless, brilliant. But it's, I don't know, just not... It just really took the wind out of my sails. I was like, oh, really? So they didn't sit there opening it and notice that. Or maybe they did and they thought, people won't care. People will just have that much fun holding the knife like a dialing wand and not cutting stuff like this instead. Don't know. I'm being a bit harsh, but you know what else really did it for me with this knife? Just made me go meh on it? Is I got it on the same day as I got this knife, which is half the price, is a flipper, is way more fun to play with, has a better steel, is just as well built. It's probably built in the same damn factory, to be honest. Because these are both Chinese knives. This one's my Rook, the knife arm of Phoenix flashlights. Real steel, very similar. It uses the same clip as real steel, so that probably means it's made in the same factory. Or they just buy from the same clip factory. I don't know. Manufacturing these days, who knows. But this is an exciting knife. This is fun to play with. Cuts for about 33% longer than this one with the steel. It's comfy in hand. It doesn't have any of that nonsense with opening and shutting it. And I know it's a slab handle titanium frame lock flipper, but there's nothing wrong with that grip at all. So, I don't know. It's not even because it's a Chinese knife. That's not even what's doing it for me. It's just all a bit off. And that's my feeling on the Spyderco Efficient. Just all a little bit off. So there you go, people. Sorry to say, but I wouldn't suggest getting this one. I wouldn't suggest it. I'd get the Polestar instead. At least it's got the BD1 steel. It's got some different checkering on the handle. It just looks like it's broken free of that tenacious trap that all these low-budget Spydercos are sort of in as well, in terms of design. Anyway, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but in my opinion, this one ain't the best knife that Spyderco have made. It's not even close. Anyway, dudes, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.